Hi, I'm Ryan Hendrix,
And I'm Kari Zweber Palmer.
and we're going to be talking with you about the social thinking vocabulary. The next concept we'll discuss is a concept that is really one of my favorites as part of the bigger social thinking vocabulary, and that is the idea of making a smart guess. Smart guess is really that way that we put some language, some structure, and a framework to the process of making an interpretation. Very simply put or simply defined, a smart guess is when we take what we observe based on what we see and hear and combine that with what we already remember or know about something in order to make a guess. A smart guess is another way to describe an inference or a prediction. We might talk about it as a hypothesis or an educated guess, and is really that way to balance out with uncertainty. I mentioned at the very beginning, as we were starting this discussion about the social thinking vocabulary, that idea of a smart guess leaving space to not know something, which for a lot of our social learners across the ages is a really, really helpful tool and strategy because there are very few situations in which we are not expected to make a smart guess, where all of the information is right there in front of us. And even if it is that combination with our through our own interpretation system and that combination of the information in front of us with what we already know or remember, all of that, there is still room for uncertainty. And each person will interpret the information based on their own social interpretation system. So, smart guess is really a way to put some language to that. We have to make smart guesses in conversation to understand someone's message, what they mean by what they say. We have to make smart guesses as we are interacting with somebody, even if we're not having a conversation or discussion, as we try and make guesses about their motives and intentions. Why are they walking towards me? What did that facial expression mean? All of that information relies on making a smart guess. Smart guesses about what people might be thinking and how they're feeling. And really importantly, to try and figure out what is the plan of the group? What are the unspoken rules and expectations here? And even making guesses about, well, what are my options and choices? It's one of those concepts, too, that I think really lends itself to making that connection to academics. So, if we think about, again, that social mind as it sits in a classroom, we have to make smart guesses as we read to try and understand what the author has written, to try to make guesses about characters, motives, and intentions, especially as that changes and as we hold on to information about the story as we continue to read or as it continues to be read to us. Students have to make smart guesses about what an assignment actually means, what a teacher is asking for based on the prompt that's provided. We have to make smart guesses to think about whether what we have written will be interpreted by the other person in the manner that we hope. And I'm hoping that as just even giving those examples, we can see how this isn't just related to the school years. This is what adults have to do as part of their day to day in their different work environments or just different situations across time. We're always having to take the information that's available, combine it with what we already know to make our best guess, to make a smart guess, and leave room for us to not know, to keep gathering new and different information to smarten up that guess. And all of that is really going to fuel how we make decisions and choices about how to move forward.